Hello everyone, this is Kent Tiger with Bengali Engineering and Play. We are back in the Last Caretaker. So currently in demo mode, demo version, will be released as early access on the 6th of November. So just a bit over a week. So Thursday of next week, 8 days away. I am very excited, hoping it will come out. I've had a lot of fun in the game. This is my 6th playthrough of the demo, so I'm having a lot of fun. I'm totally OCD. For those of you who have watched me previously know that if something is not bolted down, I'm going to take it. So that's kind of part of what I'm doing here, but I'm also kind of walking through as a tutorial as to kind of how to do things, why I'm doing them the way I'm doing, mostly just to give you some thoughts and ideas. Now, this is all kind of valid for the demo, not very valid if you're going on from here. And what I mean by that is you have a lot of stuff here that I'm not dismantling. So I am actually actively building. So yeah, I'll leave that on the kind of pause. There's a lot of things I'm doing. So we repaired everything on the roof. We have all this cable that is coming down to us here. So there's a lot of stuff that is really about utilizing what we have, repairing what we have, and then the intention would be to leave it in place. And when the game is actually released and I am indeed able to sail away from here, then very likely 97% chance that I will actually go upstairs, grind everything down, as in all my solar, all of my wind, and haul it all down. So that's the intention, or very likely what the intention will be, because I don't, they call this the sanctuary. So you could come here. There's very few enemies here. So reasonably you could come back here and spend a bit of time here, but because the game is progressive, you're trying to, achieve goals. So would there really be any reason to come back here and do anything? Not really. There's really nothing else to do here. So once I have totally scrapped the snot out of everything, picked up everything that's bolted down, recycled it, then there's not really a reason to come back here. So the very last thing I will do is get the batteries, because the batteries are parts. Now, because this is a tutorial of sorts, an idea presenter of sorts, I do want to show you some things, because it's a technique that you will be able to use elsewhere in the game. And if you've watched some of the folks who have the developer version of the game, so kind of a early release, early access version that they gave to some of the video presenters, YouTubers and stuff, they allowed you to go to certain places and stream that. So anyway, some ideas that I think will come in very handy, so I want to go ahead and demonstrate them here for sake of tutorial. All right, so let's continue on. All right, now one of the things I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and build. So we're going to build. We're going to do the connector here, the extender here. Build. I'm going to put one right here. So fabricate, fuse, and the reason we're doing that is because I want to run power to my ship. So it's going to go in two places. So there's a battery down below, which is there in the fabricator. That's right there. That's that room. That's that door there that goes right into the fabricator. So we want to run power down there, but also all the way down to the battery, which is right there off the stern of the boat. So the idea is that we would be able to, you know, put power into those two places. All right, so no easy way to do this. So we're just going to grab cable. We're going to follow that cable over to here, connect, go over here, connect, and then now what I don't know is how much cable. I've only got 6. So we're going to go ahead and make quite a bit of cable because I'm going to need cable. So let's go ahead, and because we got everything repaired on the roof, we'll go ahead and do a quick heal here. We'll go over and charge ourselves, and then we'll do a save. Because again, you always want to save. You never know when a game is going to crash, so better to save. Right. That was an E and an E, so we'll go in here, save. That's also an E, backup, and slot 1, and yes. I might be able to press enter. I'm going to try that when they're highlighted in a specific way. All right. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to start getting. That's not where I wanted to go. So right click on my cable, build 5, and while that is building, it will just dump into my inventory. But we're going to connect, and we're going to climb on the ladder here. And remember, I'm holding that cable. So S, which will go down. You can kind of hear the unravel. All right, so there's this. I have no more cables left. But you see, oh wait, I'll have to grab it. All right, so let me Q to undo that. All right, so it's up there, but I was hoping that this would Q while I was doing it, but apparently it did not. All right, so we're gonna enter. We're gonna go up and it let me grab. It won't let me grab. Okay, we're gonna try and jump. Nope, not happening. All right, so paused climbing. Okay, grab cable, reel it in. I'm going to do this again. I should be able to make it to the ground, and then we'll demonstrate again that fabricate, the easy fabricating way. So connect. We're going to climb, and down we go. Okay. Cable remaining, 29 meters. So that's what you have in inventory. But it says 2 meters of 20. Remember I mentioned before, 20 meters is your limit per length of cable. All we want to do is get to the ground, 3, 4, 5, 6. So when you're doing cable running, so this is really 12 meters, right? So the idea is that as you're doing this, you can kind of gauge where you're at. And know, okay, I'm at the limit of my cable length, so I'm going to have to stop and put a this is because that cable is kind of freaking out a little bit. All right, Q to turn that off. We're going to come onto this side just because. What is it waiting for? So, connect, but it's still doing whatever weird thing it was doing there. I guess that's just gonna happen. All right. So I could carry this in, but otherwise I'm gonna just throw it on the ship there. This is mostly just to get it out of the way. Okay, so we're pre-planning here. We're going to go back into build, and are my lights freaking out? I'm not sure what that is. Okay, extender, build, So I'm going to put one. Actually, I'm going to put it right here. I'll do it over here. It won't really matter. I mean, lengthwise, it really won't matter. All right, so I'm going to put that right here, which is an E-fabricate. We're also going to put one right here. Q to turn that off. Now, that guy is going to connect onto here and then go to here, and then this one is going to go downstairs, which will tie into that battery. I'm not sure why those are freaking. That's probably my graphic setting, I'm guessing, is why that's doing that. All right. So wherever this particular battery is, so here we go again. We want to turn this on. I don't want to drop this if I don't have to, but it's not giving me that option. So, all right. So this battery is not bad at all. So what we really need to do is we're going to go fabricator. Hello. There we go. And because the fabricator does things so much faster, we're just going to queue up a boatload over here. Now, as I click here, so this is the item that I want, you'll see that that item shows up and it tells you what you need, right? So in this case, I need one copper and one plastic, and it will make 5 meters of electrical cable. That's true of any of the cables, right? It builds 5 meters. So I can build, so I need plastic and copper. Makes sense for electrical wire, right? So insulation over the copper. So 26 plastic is what I have in my personal inventory. So 26 versus 72. So the good news here is I can build 26 5-meter sections of this, right? So if we look over here, 26, right? So build 5, build 5. So we're going to build all that we can. And I got one more, so I'm going to build it. Okay, so the idea is that I'm building all of the cable I can. And this will take a while. So I think I can walk away from this doing things. So here's one of the things we want to do is connect, and remember it's spooling out. We can see what that is. So I have 5 meters remaining. I'm going to connect that onto there. That's going to be the power feed for this battery. And because I know I don't have enough, I'm going to go from here to here. And that's about it. So I am now out of cable. Yep, out of cable. Oh, I'm not. So I'm about, what, 2 meters away from that guy? So I got 2 meters. That's it. All right. Let's see what it says. 1 meter. Okay, close. All right. So what we're going to do is start carrying stuff in there because we can. So again, the idea is to recycle. These barely fit through the door. Even though I'm reasonably strong, not strong enough. One of the other things that I said I was going to do is I want these chairs because, hey, orange for tiger. So I'm going to walk over here and we're just going to drop. Just going to go on the ship. Tables here are also going onto the ship, so while this is creating and producing, and it's done. Alright, so we now have the cable. You notice we got no power going in because that goes to right there. It doesn't go anywhere. Throw this over here. Toss that down there. Alright, now this is really what we wanted to do, which is connect. Roll over here on the corner and connect. Alright, so that now is connected. So equalize, which means now the batteries upstairs are equalizing with this battery. So that is 4 of 5 batteries that are in the near vicinity here. We have 3 of 5 batteries that are now interconnected, as well as drawing power from our power sources on the roof. So we're good to go with these. So here's the next phase, which is to get the 4th battery connected. So this can be a little tricky. So if you set reset switch, you see how this is green? So if you click reset switch on E, it's actually going to turn this thing off. So no power will come in, no power will go out. So these things actually can shut power off as well. So you can do pretty extensive cable designs with this. So sometimes if you get close or you're at a different angle, it will select a port that you don't necessarily want. So I want this port because I want to fall right off the edge here and go down. So E to connect. It is connected to the right port. You can actually jump down here. So I'm unrolling, and I want to go over here, and as I hopefully that's not what I wanted to do. It's just being weird. Still being weird. Alright, well, I don't know that it's going to do anything else. So you can see this is really low because it's really kind of been powering the boat. Okay, so I'm going to connect that. That's not the way I wanted that, but there's kind of nothing you can do, unfortunately. So this is going full bore, so taking power from all of the other batteries to balance. Now the downside with balancing is that balancing is balancing. So it's not just taking everything and drawing it in, but we can do that. So now we have 4 batteries, right? So we have this battery, we have 1 battery upstairs next to the recycler and fabricator. We have 2 more batteries above that. Where's the other battery? Oh, yeah, those are the 4 batteries. And then we have 1 all the way downstairs in the bedroom area. So that's the 5 batteries that are on this platform, this facility. So we have 4 of 5 that are now connected. So the idea is that all of these batteries are going to equalize, so we can look at the boat here and see what the boat is at. So the boat is at 3.1, which means we have now met our last optional achievement, right? So the only non-optional is to sail away. Right? So we're working our way through stuff here, but in the end we have now connected 4 batteries to the roof and 4 batteries to the boat. So what I'm going to do here, just for sake of getting the boat all the way up to the top, we're going to change over to input, which means all of the energy is going to go, as much energy as can be provided. So you see 1 megawatt here. So that is the limit of all these different cables, and boom, we're there. Okay, so the idea is I want my boat to always be at 100%. I don't want it to draw any power from the boat. I want the boat to stay here, and then whatever it needs to supply is now being supplied by shore power. So the idea is that I won't be using my boat as effectively a sixth battery when I get the battery downstairs attached, which is something we're going to do. So, okay, I have the two chairs that came downstairs here, but ultimately I'm going to go back upstairs. And let's see, what else do we need to do? So I'm going to turn these off for now because there's a lot of things I can do here, but it's just kind of, so the question is, do I have enough cable? So this is another kind of split. I'm going to split this one, and so this is one of the bugs in the game, and it does it with batteries, it does it with cables, that you can't actually stack. Well, kind of stack. So you're limited to 100 in most every case. The only place I saw different, where did I see different? I'm trying to remember what was different. So all of my resources are hundreds. I don't remember what it was the other day. I was experimenting and figuring out how big can the stacks be. So your kilogram is going to change, but this is the counts, and then these kilograms they change according to what the material is. So for example, gold. In this case, if we did literally a 3 divide by 5, you'd end up with like 0.8 or 9, something like that. Maybe it's 0.8. I would have thought gold would be heavier, but 4.2. So polyurethane strangely is heavier than gold. I don't know why that is. 4 iron is lighter than gold, looks like. Copper 45 is only 13.5 kilograms. 40 is only 8 kilograms. So rubber, carbon fiber, which we have not seen yet, there is some here. So I think you get carbon fiber potentially from like tech scraps and stuff like that. So 33 is 6.6 kg. So you see all these things. Fabrics, pretty light, all things considered. Aluminum, reasonably light, or aluminium, depending on what part of the world you're from. We're doing power. So I have 74 and 31, which anybody that can calculate is 105, right? So we have quite a few. So 105 times 5 meters, we have about 500 meters of cable stuffs. Now the other side of this is that we need to build extenders. And if you remember that our extenders, I think, are copper and iron, so we do not have a whole lot of iron. So we definitely need to do more scrapping to get us to where we need to go. We also need really a boatload of plastics. So what I'm going to do is go back up to the roof, and I know this is going to be really, really boring, but we need particular stuff. Which unfortunately I don't think I have here at this level. So let's do a bit of scrapping, just because I think we really need to. So tires, rubber, that sort of thing. So we'll go ahead and of course, plastic. This probably won't fit through the door. Oh, it will. There's some more iron. Look, things. things you couldn't do if you tried. Hit at that perfect angle where it just bounces off. Yeah. Alright, these guys can go in. So we're really in need of the iron, and there's not a whole lot of that right here. I'm sorry that the wobbles so much. Hate doing that to you guys, but I apologize for that. Okay, great. Good. Almost missed that one. I don't think I'm gonna be able to get this through the door. Yes, I do the top camera too. I admit I sucked at basketball. Really admit that. So we probably can do a bit of investigating while we're kind of creating, collecting. I mean, I need to collect, but there's an awful lot of collecting that I really don't need or want to do on camera because it would just bore you guys to tears. So I don't really think there's necessarily any need to do all of my what I really want to do is just have enough materials to actually get to it. So there's copper, iron, total of 30 other items. So let's have a look. So we have 8 plastics, which is not good if we're building cable. We now have 20 iron and 53 copper, which is actually doing pretty good in terms of copper. But let's go to our build menu, just because the 2 things that we need to string cable downstairs, obviously, is cable. So if we click on cable, we see we need plastic and we need copper. So to make the cable, we can make 8 sets of 5 meters, right? So one 5 and 3 singles to make, basically 40 meters, right? That's it. Which isn't that much. I mean, it'll get us quite a ways. We've got plenty of copper, so I'm not worried there. So this is 1 and 1, which is unfortunately plastic and iron, which means I can make 8 extenders. That's it. So I really need more plastic. And the only way to get plastic is to recycle. Well, there's another way, which and I apologize for this, I never finished the boat tour. We went through the center of the boat and we ended up on the deck and everything, but I never really described anything else. I want to go over the stern of the boat because it would just be a little more convenient to be able to see it's things that kind of aren't. I mean, they're pretty obvious, but if you don't really think about it, then it's like, what is this? So I just, it's a tutorial. Why not? All right, so we're getting plastics. These are iron. These are a bit lighter. Sometimes you just gotta laugh. chair can go in. That is, I think, metal and plastic. I need to charge. Damn. So go over here and we'll come on. Really running low. So, on the plus side, you don't need food. You don't need sleep. You don't need water. On the downside, you need electric. So, being a robot has its advantages, but has its disadvantages too. So, the downside, of course, is that you have to stop and charge, and you actually have to pay attention. So, alright. That was a hold E, by the way. All right, so we got a couple options here. It's kind of closer just to pitch them on the ship because it's all connected to electric, right? All right. I was hoping that would be okay. I'm gonna just pull these over. Because batteries. Ah, shit. That's just one of the batteries. Alright, so now that this is over, we have this. Now, I guess it's 6 of one, half dozen the other, whether I turn around and march this through 2 doors and get it in, or pitch them onto the ship and just carry them, 2 spaces forward. So, kind of 6 of one, half dozen the other. All right, so somebody had a trick that I thought was actually really clever, and I think I'm going to try it. So what they did was set beams across this gap and then set pallets onto, this is probably shorter to go through. It's just easier because you've got a straight path through your ship. Alright, there's some more loot, so let me, so we needed iron and plastic were our real movers, and we've actually got a lot of plastic down here because all those canisters are plastic and metal, and then these crates are plastic and metal. So the chair, of course, I'm saving. So one other thing, one other thing that might as well get in process here is the tables. So I want to go ahead and get the tables out of here and into the ship. Again, pack rat, but because I want the tables and you can't create tables, then this is stuff. Remember, I still got the table on the roof there, which you can actually see that it's sitting on the solar panels. So those are the embedded solar panels. They are wired in. So if you're out and about, you are actually receiving a certain amount of charge. So for what that's worth. That's going in the engine room. This other one is going in the engine room. The table that's on the roof. Oops. I didn't really intend to pitch it that far, but sometimes you just, it goes where it goes. This one will also go kind of down here. Now, one of the things I noticed, I was pitching stuff literally from over there. Now, different folks, you like move your damn boat. So that is certainly an option. You know, move your boat, makes sense. And then you just drop stuff off from up here rather than carrying it all the way around. And I might actually try to do that just for fun. Yeah. Anyway, so plastic. We need plastic. In the end, it's all about plastic. So let's grab the stuff that is over here. This I can't easily fit through the door, so I guess that is relegated to the ship. So we'll carry that. That is just iron. We do need iron too. So I don't know if anybody has discovered how to get. You can see batteries on. I think it's a table back there. Might be a bed. So. Maybe we have seen that one. I don't know. Okay, so let's we'll cruise in here. We do have a couple things. All right, we'll turn that off just so we're not using power arbitrarily. All right, and jump down to the ship. And again, there's a table. What a shot. All right, so let's get this table. So this is going over here in this corner. This one is going over here in this corner. Well, actually, but close. Okay, and then we'll start hauling these right in here. Okay, so turn this on. Now remember, our boat is now plumbed into shore power to the roof. Right, so plus it's on input mode, which means it will always charge the boat first, which is exactly where we want to be. You know what? I do have some materials in that box, now that I think about it. I am scrapping clearly. Alright, let's see what materials we have in here. So we have gold, which I really don't need gold. I think this is polymer, polyurethane, sorry. Don't really need that either. Oh, are we full, literally? Oh, because this. I'm not right now going to need silicon, so I'm going to go ahead and throw that in. Polyethylene goes here, and fabric I do not need. We'll go ahead and add this to that one. So you see here 50 kilograms, so I have 49.3 kilograms. The new version of the game actually is really good about, it will portion, so rubber, for example. We're going to put the rubber in here. It's going to take as much of that last item as it could possibly fit. So in this case, 49.9. So everything added up is almost 50 kilograms, but no more. That's it. So we can start to get rid of some of this. We've got 10 kilograms. That's a diesel, small diesel tank, which we'll take upstairs. Let me throw this one piece of metal scrap into the recycler here. So there's that. That was just a carryover. And there's a couple things like the batteries. I have batteries with me, so I really do not need to carry the batteries per se. So let's go ahead and get just the path clear here. I want to get the table off. Wow. Like zero hand-eye coordination today for some reason. Accidentally kicked the box, that's what that was. That was that thump. So the a lot of things actually anchor themselves to the ground, to whatever they're physically on, which is a good thing. So in my case, I'm going to pick. So here, that's the demonstration of you can actually pick up boxes again. So F to rotate. Remember, it will rotate clockwise. It will rotate clockwise. I know that sounds silly for folks who are much younger than I am, who may not actually remember clocks with hands. So, and I'm not saying that to be insulting. There are a lot of people I've worked with over the years who really do not know why do they call it clockwise and counterclockwise. And I'm kind of like, really, that's a legit question. And then I have to think, wait, I'm 30 years older than you are. Never mind, got it. Yes. That's because a clock used to have hands. We can demonstrate that by the arguably most famous clock in the world, Big Ben, which is right there in London. And yes, Big Ben is not digital. It is as analog as it gets. All right, we're gonna set these guys over here in the corner. Oh, you know what? How about? We'll keep one of these here. Be my desk chair here, and then we'll take this other one up to the bridge. And then we have to jump on the bridge because I need the damn table. Let's see where we are. All right, so there is a ladder on one side and stairs on the other side. So depending on what you are needing to get in here. All right, so I'm going to put this, in fact, back here. All right, so this is your bridge. So here's your Pico terminal. You have a map, and the map doesn't do a whole lot for you right now because you have to turn a beacon on. We have what time of the day it is, so it is a little after, a little before 9 p.m. For those of you who are military time challenged, or 24-hour clock challenged, anyway. This is your power. So we are now at 6 of 6, right? Good stuff. This is your diesel tank. So this inner band will actually show you plus or minus. So in this case, we are not bringing anything in or taking anything out. Why is that? Because we're on shore power. There you go. As you come this side, it will be green, which means you're charging from top dead center here. If you come to the left, you are discharging. It will turn red, right? So that's, whatever it is. This is the integrity of your boat. So right now we are at 100%. This is engine power from 0 to 100%, or if you're going backwards to negative 100%. Your compass. Your compass will also go onto your HUD. I'm not actually sure what this number is. I have no idea really. My guess is it's a position relative to, I don't know. This is 11.5 colon 8.2, which is usually how latitude and longitude is represented. So I don't know. Oh, I'm hurting. All right. Okay, let me finish. I know I have enough power to finish. This is your effectively your anemometer. So those of you who do not know what an anemometer is, it is those little whirly things that tell you the wind speed. So this gives you the so the anemometer is the direction combined with the wind speed. Okay, so both of those together equal an anemometer, which then tell you, of course, the wind speed, the wind direction, which are the two. These are all of your current weather factors. So 30 degrees C outside, no rain currently, wave height, cloud layer. I'm not sure what the other one is. Maybe humidity? Maybe? I don't know. I don't know what those are. So, and compass. So, okay, that's everything that's up here. So you've got everything you need to do what you need, including your pico terminal here. All right, let's roll down, and we are going to hook up to power. Then we will redo vitality all the way up to 100%, because basically when you're out of power, you're burning vitality. So, oops, I took a little time there. Probably shouldn't have, but I did. So we'll get to 100% on power. Okay, disconnect. Then we'll roll in here. Vitality. You notice there is a electric engine cylinder there, so we'll grab that and carry it back downstairs. We're down there. Do a save. Back up. And slot this. Oh, let's go check. All right, and one of the things we want to do is drop this, so it's a right-click drop. Escape to get out of that, and then we're going to pick this up, and I'm gonna let's put that right over here. So on the good side, there's 600 liters, and my tank can hold 2,000. Okay, so that's pretty significant here, right? So I just have collected everything. Now the downside, rumor has it, is you will not be able to take your save, and you probably wouldn't want to anyway, because remember, experience points is scrap, right? So everything you are collecting scrap-wise goes to your experience points. So once I have reached level 3, I'm no longer collecting experience points because I'm not advancing at all, which means by my watching through for people who had the kind of development version of the early access, they were sailing away at too far. They were sailing away at basically level 6. So before you ever sail out of the dock, you're at level 6. So that's, you know, folks who are as OCD as I am, and they have just collected and scrapped everything. So my intention is to do the same when the game comes out, because oh my. Okay, back up to the bridge, onto the roof of the bridge, because cable. On the table. All right. So I'm going to spin this sideways. I'm just going to. That's actually not what I want to do. Okay, but anyway. So you've got 3 big solar panels here, which I think they're basically right in between. So you have your Lumi. Let's just look. So you have this one that you can build Lumilite, so 900 watt hours in optimal conditions, And your next one up, we'll go to enhancers, sorry, skills, which is this one. So Lumi Mid, which is the ones that you saw up on the roof. So the it does, oh, 2,000 watt hours. There you go. So my guess is these are like 1,500 or something like that, or maybe 1,000, 1,200, something like that. So they're bigger than the Lumilite, but much smaller than these guys. So I don't know what the actual rating is, but they have said, the devs on Discord, these are absolutely wired in. So these are passive charging without you doing anything. So you roll out and you are able to charge in sunlight. The downside is, hey, there's nighttime. There's storms, there's fog, which means you have 30-40% of the time that you spend out there is going to be in non-solar conditions or non-ideal solar conditions. So that's a problem. So that's not what I wanted to do. This is I'm used to frame rate that is pretty significant, and this is a little less than that. So I'm reacting to it, even though I've got the graphics turned down pretty low. It's still not performing how I really would like it to be. That's why it's a little janky. So sorry about that. For those of you who are watching, hopefully the quality of the video here is decent enough to get the idea. And on the plus side, tutorial, so it's not really... Okay, let me get a few more things cleared off the deck here. If nothing else, just pitch them forward. This actually goes down there too. So I was mentioning about things like the tables and stuff. So be careful when you're pitching from long distance. So for example, you can actually pitch the shelves and chairs and stuff like that off this platform up here. So this lower platform, which is 2 or 3 meters bigger than that one. So that door up there, that's where you first came out. So this platform is like 2 meters or 3 meters closer to the ship. So you can actually pitch stuff off from up there onto the bow of your ship, which is kind of cool. The downside is shelves. So you notice I took 2 shelves. There are actually 2 more shelves. I'm trying to remember where they are right now. I'm drawing a blank for some reason. But 2 more shelves. In fact, I think they are in the room on the other side at the top of the elevator up here. So anyway, you can pitch the shelves across. You can pick chairs across. The downside is if your shelf hits the other shelf, it will clip for a millisecond, which means the frame of the shelf will phase through the frame of the other shelf and then rematerialize, which means they're now permanently connected forever. They're both free and independent of one another, but the framework is now interconnected, which means you cannot get them apart. So the only choice is to grind one of them down, which is unfortunate because, hey, I'm trying to collect this stuff. Damn it. Alright, let me throw this stuff down here. This is the last 2 items, and then we'll do the tour. We'll finish the tour. Sorry, I told you I was going to do a tour, and I lied. Alright, we'll start over here. For those of you who are not nautically inclined, this is the starboard side of the ship. We are on the stern. So for those of you who are not so familiar with naval terminology or nautical terminology, we are on the stern, which is the very aft end of, after, which comes from naval terminology of amidships. So you are aft of amidships, and we are as aft as we can possibly be, which is the stern of the ship. So we can actually see our rudder back here. That's our rudder. It's kind of interesting. The propeller is integrated with the rudder. Your rudder goes over to 90 degrees, so it's kind of wild. So there's some interesting physics with the ships. Even though it shows that you are progressing forward, when you put the rudder hard over, which is to 90 degrees, you are stuck in place. So you are literally turning on a top, which is kind of strange. But okay, this is a net. So right now you can see, so up, down, right? Net is raised, net is lowered. So the idea is if we lower our net, you see that box go in, the net goes out. I don't know if you can actually see the net. Maybe you can. And as you are, oh, look at that. So 0.8 kilograms. As you are trawling around, you drop your net, and these are my calculations now, so it depends on what it's going, and my guess is speed through the water matters and that sort of thing. But if I'm legitimately trolling, I'm using about 30% of my forward thrust. So, engines ahead, about a third, and every 4 minutes you will fill this thing. This thing's limit is 15 kilograms, so you want to police. But here's the good news. You are getting a spatter of every scrap in the game, up to and including some organic materials. So it's free stuff. Apparently it is absolutely unlimited. So as you are traveling through water, every 4 minutes, come and check this. If you are moving, it will not perform nearly as well at anchor, but as you're moving, every 4 minutes, come back here, shift it to net up. It'll take a couple seconds before the net is pulled in, and then the container will come out, and you will see, in this case, all I got was some broken glass. Q to shift it over, and then that closes. There was also the option down there, if you saw, take all. So deposit all means I'm taking it from my inventory and putting it into this inventory. Take all means I'm taking everything from this inventory and moving it in here. Deposit similar, we can demonstrate that, but basically if you have boxes set up like, I've got a box, let's say, I'm being fictitious here, but a box set up with iron and copper. So I open that box, I push deposit similar, and it's going to deposit similar of, in this case, iron and copper, right? Because that's what's in the box. So deposit similar, right? Iron and copper. If iron and copper are in the box, it's going to take iron and copper out of your inventory and stuff it into the box up to the maximum capacity of the box. In this case, 15 kilograms. So I have never seen it above 14.4, but that's because most of this stuff is, scraps, is 0.8 kilogram. So if you take that up, 0.8 kilogram doesn't go into 15.5. It goes into 14.4. So anyway, for what that's worth. So anyway, as you're trawling, regardless of where you're going, it's going to take you time to get there. This is free scraps, unlimited free scraps. Okay, so you don't even have to do anything. Drag the net and you're picking up all this stuff. So you might as well do it. It's free. You don't even have to recycle. I mean, you do because you've got all your scraps, but you don't have to break anything down. You don't have to, you literally take it out of the bin, haul it into your recycler, and now you have materials. So anyway, free scraps. Apparently infinite. free scraps. So when you're moving, put out the net every 4 minutes. You can pick it up, which my guess is you're gonna, logically, if you're going faster through the water. So if you're running at 100% throttle, very likely you're gonna pick up more stuff faster. So anyway, okay. So nets. This is a seawater pump. What is it doing? It's pulling ocean water, and here's your output salt water. Why is this important? Later on in the game, you will actually have water purifier. You need water later on in the game. So I'll just put it that way. So you have a water purifier, and let me show you. Sorry, that was meant to be tabbed. So let's go to skills. So water purifier. So in a nutshell, every apparatus takes electricity of some kind, right? That's how it works. It needs electricity. So your water purifier, it needs electricity and it needs salt water. Then it will purify the water and output fresh water or water. Okay. But it needs electricity to function. Let's look at this guy. This is your petrol generator. It needs electricity, so like it said, generates petrol from biomatter and electricity. So you need electricity to make it run, and then you put biomatter in, and out comes petrol. Diesel generator, same thing. Organic materials, so bio stuff, and electricity, right? Outputs diesel. So everything, as far as I can tell, needs electricity, right? But in the end, water purifier, we ultimately will have a water tank. So here's a water tank. Oh, sorry, diesel tank. Here's your water tank. Petrol tank. Never mind. I'm full of. So you have a small water tank. Here's your water tank. So you've got a water tank. I don't know if there's a gas tank. I'm not sure why it's scrolling like that. That's kind of weird. No, I don't see any kind of gas tank per se, because I know you can deal with methane and CO2. Small oxygen container. So maybe there's got to be an oxygen tank somewhere. Small oxygen tank. So a lot of these things I have no idea what they are. Large electric generator, Savitier reactor. Yeah, I don't. Oil tank. So I generates diesel, petrol, and plastic from oil. You can build an oil tank, but I have no idea how to create oil. So I really do not know that. I don't see anywhere in the list. How do you actually methane tank? So we have a methane tank, and that's got to be an oxygen tank. Yeah. So there are those tanks after all. Large consumable battery. Electric rifle. I really want to get that one. All right, so I have no idea how you generate oil, even though there is oil tank and the distillation tower. So, my thoughts are you would have to have a way to generate the oil. You would have to, I would think. So anyway, I don't see that here, but obviously, the game could change a bit when it goes to early release, so we'll figure all that. So saltwater pump right here. Okay, this is your aft anchor, right? So your stern anchor. Let's go to the bow. Again, we talked about the mooring cables and the mooring plates. So plates are on the pier. You haul the mooring cables across. It will pull your boat in. All right. So again, remember This is the singular connection to your medium battery. All of them are interconnected, so you can go to any one of these and it connects in the same place. Diesel tank, right? All connected to the diesel tank. There's 5 of these. All right. This is your forward anchor. More accurately, your forward starboard anchor. There isn't a port side anchor on the front, so just this guy. So you've got this one here in the front, in the bow. We are on the bow, and that thing happened. So anyway, that's pretty much everything that we see. Satellite comms, which I don't really think are used for anything, although that may be kind of maybe that's how you receive map data, possibly. And here's this ladder I was telling you about. Okay, so let us go ahead and recharge. We are already at 100% health, which is a good thing. And then we will do a save and then close this episode. All right, disconnect. So we're going to go to save. Enter. I'm going to try it. Yep, goes to backup, and backup slot 1 is selected. Enter again, and a yes. Enter again. There it is. And all right. Look out the front of the bow of our ship. All right. Thank you for joining me this evening. This is Kenty Tiger signing off, and we'll catch you next time.